Okay, so we are going to talk about high-definition remakes nowadays. So, for those of you that are watching that don't know what high-definition remakes are, unsubscribe. You clearly shouldn't be watching Rerez, but kidding aside, high-definition remakes are older video games that are remade to utilize high-definition screens, so 1080p, stuff like that. Now, the reason why high-definition remakes are even being discussed nowadays is because we're seeing a ton of them come out, and even high-definition remakes of games just from the last generation coming over and actually being implemented in 1080. Now, there is this bad misconception online from a lot of people that believe that if they're playing a game on an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, that game is actually being presented to you at 1080p at 60 frames per second every single time. That is simply not true. There are tons of games that are being released right now that are being presented in sub 1080p, and then the resolution is just upscaled to look like it's 1080p. Now, that's not wrong. It ain't great, but it's tricky. Not wrong. It's tricky, but it is something that's happening. So when we see certain games make the trip over, like, for instance, The Last of Us was released first on PlayStation 3, and then there's a much better version on the PlayStation 4. So all that being said, Mike, what do you think of high-definition remakes?
I'm going to say they're a double-edged sword. I think there are positives and negatives about them. Here's the deal. If you want to play a game that you enjoyed in the past and play it a bit better, hey, all the power to you. And I have no problem with companies releasing HD remakes, but if that's all the company's releasing, if they're dedicating their entire library, their entire budget on HD remakes, that gets to be a bit of a problem. And I have to point out, one of my favorite publishers is actually Capcom, who this generation has pretty much done that. They've only had, I think you can count them on one hand, the titles they've released that haven't been remakes. They did Dead Rising 3, Dead Rising 4, and Resident Evil and 7 haven't even come out yet, and then you got Street Fighter 5, and Deep Down just disappeared. So there's, if I can remember, there's actually 4 games, 2 of which haven't even come out yet. All their entire other catalog is HD remakes of Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, Dead Rising 1 and 2, Devil May Cry, and DMC Devil May Cry, and Devil May Cry 4, which actually got digital release here, physical in outside of the US. So yeah, I have no problem. Like, now it's good for people who haven't bought the game in the past. Like, BioShock is a perfect example. Just got released at the time of this recording a couple days ago, the BioShock collection. So if anyone who owns a PS4 or Xbox One had never played BioShock before, great.
Actually, to add on to that, if you have BioShock on Steam, you got the remasters for 1 and 2 for free.
Excellent. And I believe they're doing the same thing with Skyrim as well. Yeah. Like, so that is great. When companies do that, if they can do that for the PC, fantastic. That's not even necessary as far as I'm concerned, but the fact that they're doing that is great. So if you haven't played those games before, this is the great way to play them. Same thing with, like, even those Capcom games I mentioned. If you haven't played Dead Rising, if you didn't get a chance to play it on 360 because maybe you only own the PlayStation, hell, you can buy it on the PlayStation 4 now. And you know what? It's still a great game. You know,
I believe it's a flash in the pan. We're getting it. It's not, this generation doesn't have exclusive rights on remakes.
That is true. We were discussing that before, and how it's been going on for quite a while. And I know the examples you want to bring up, but I'll bring up a quick one that a lot of people don't even realize, that one of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time, Castlevania 4, is technically a remake. It's a remake of the first Castlevania. So it's been going on forever, but please go ahead.
Well, obviously Snatcher's a remake.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
It was a 6-year-old game by the time it got to North American shores, right? What I feel, we all know the reason why HD remakes happen is because Sony and Microsoft really didn't kind of convey what was happening and what they wanted to achieve with this generation of gaming. All the publishers, third-party publishers, got really nervous. They thought everything was going to be episodic. They were caught with their pants down. The system sold, both of them collectively, they've sold a very impressive amount of systems, especially when console gaming is dead. I can't put enough quotations around that. So I feel what they're doing right now is, people want content, and not every game is going to please every palate. So, of course, this is the reason why we have so many different genres and so many different games. So we're getting the HD remakes because, quite frankly, they don't have enough in the pipeline to give us
you're right.
New
it's
content.
A quick fix, almost like a quick fix, and an affordable quick fix. Like, it doesn't cost zero remaster a game because you still have to put engineers on it to up everything and make sure everything's going to work correctly.
Hopefully.
Or if you're Activision, you don't. When you release Prototype 2 HD remake and the game just falls apart. Or Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
I feel it's going to
another Activision game.
I feel it's going to. I feel this may be the only generation. Provided we get. Well, we already know we're getting Xbox's next generation hardware. They can say whatever they want about it, but it's a next generation piece of hardware. And provided we get, like a PlayStation 5 or whatever. Moving forward, how this business model of kind of having the concept of having successive consoles every year, every other year, a shorter lifespan than a console, and bringing your games forward with that. So if that becomes a reality, HD remakes will be a thing of the past because there'll be no need for it, and if for some reason there's ever a graphic up or whatever, you play that forward in your newer consoles and you still have the games. But right now we're discussing the reality of 2016, as I've already proclaimed on the Twitters. 2016, the year of the HD remake, because in the span of 3 minutes on one website, without digging, I read about 3 HD remakes, either immediately out or immediately coming out. And I'm just like,
you know what? I gotta say, I used to think I understood what remakes were for, specifically getting older games like, for instance, a really fun remake I really like is Out of This World, or Another World.
Yeah.
And Another World has an HD remake for PCs, more or less an anniversary release.
Yep.
And it has a high-definition variation of the game, plus you can go back at any moment and go play the original version of the game, and you can just push a button and it switches. Escape from Monkey Island?
Yep.
That one has an HD remake, same with Part 2, but at any moment, you can just switch back to the original. And even Day of the Tentacle, which is one of my personal favorite games ever, I like seeing that stuff happen.
Grim Fandango.
Oh, right. It doesn't rob anything from the original game to have that. And that's what I thought that they were for. But something happened where everyone was like, wow, HD remakes? How about Modern Warfare? What? That was last gen.
Yeah.
Why do you need that? That was already at the... What's going on? And then everyone started announcing all these remakes all over the place. I'm just like, hold on, okay? Take a beat. I don't think you guys understand what people actually need. I get why they're doing that, right? It was a big, big game. Everyone wants it to see it again, modern times. But just port it over? Does it need the full HD remake ability? Like, I mean, for fuck's sakes, it's Modern Warfare. They did Shadow of the Colossus. That made sense to me.
Yeah.
Now look, Shadow of the Colossus, loved it on PlayStation 2, right? Mm-hmm. Shit frame rate. One of the worst frame rates you can find on the PlayStation 2. And I swear, if you're ever going to play the game, you play it on the PlayStation 3 because the experience is fantastic there. They were literally kicking the PlayStation 2 just to get those frames out. With the PlayStation 3, you're getting a much better whole feel experience, which I actually think might secretly be the reason why we didn't see The Last Guardian on PlayStation 3, because I guarantee you, by the time that game would have come out, 15 frames a second! Yeah. So it's like, we need a new system! Okay, let's wait 5 years for PlayStation 4. Whatever it may be. We're seeing tons of remakes and HD variations of games that were already H-fucking-D. Like,
it made sense making a PS2 original Xbox game on the 360 or PS3, because those were running at 480p or 480i in a lot of cases. Yes. And you're right, frame rates really suffered.
And in some cases, in 4x3, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right? So it's nice to see that move over. Better loading times, better frame rate, and not at the cost of altering the game. To me, that made sense to have those things there. Look, anyone watching at Capcom, all I'm saying, okay, everyone here, everyone watching, would love a Power Stone collection on modern systems. Make it happen.
That is the HD. That is a collection that they need to bring out.
That is what I'm talking about. That's where the HD matters. But when you're talking about things that don't matter, and I'm not saying Modern Warfare 2 doesn't matter, whatever the hell, it does, but I don't think it matters enough to bring that over. That's a neat little throw-in, but they're making it sound like it's this big deal. And what's hilarious is I know for a fact that Modern Warfare sales are on a decline. Mm-hmm. People aren't liking it that much. Well, how do we get people back into Modern Warfare? Well, maybe we'll make a better game. Fuck you, Tim, no! We're just going to re-release a remake of a game they already bought. And I was like, that's not gonna work. And then everyone was like, did you see the E3 announcement? Holy shit, a new Modern Warfare. Are the old ones coming back in HD? Like, did you not The one you own, right over there,
Yeah.
is in HD. Nothing changed. It was like this mentality broke at some point where people don't even understand what they're for anymore. It's for the old shit we can't get anywhere else to come back in modern stuff. It's about getting
Snatcher.
Yes.
Snatcher HD remake. That is a remake that needs to happen. When Super Street Fighter 2 HD Turbo Remix came out, that was a remake that needed to happen.
Because that was a game running in a really low resolution originally, and they redrew it, like hand-drawn, beautiful high-res graphics.
Or even getting more contemporary though. Two generations, right? 2 generations? No, one. When did the remake of or anniversary edition of Halo come out?
That was on the 360.
So that was that by itself. What I liked about that is that made sense because it was HD because we were going from standard definition to HD.
Yep.
But the best part about it is on the fly you could change between the old game and the new game. And what I really enjoyed about that is that helped in preserving Halo from a historical standpoint because there you are. If you're ever going to do an HD remake, you better have developers that are skilled enough they can run a dual engine where both games are running in tandem and it's just button click, there you are. Oh, this is what it was like in 2001. Or oh wow, I remember this, I feel that this should be a prerequisite. I think there should literally be, now that we're into high definition gaming, there should be a minimum 1 gen gap between. Don't be releasing The Last of Us in 2013 on PlayStation 3 and then release it again on 2014 on PlayStation 4. You sold enough copies and you just shot down everyone's throats because it's like, hey, you love The Last of Us? Of course we do. It's one of the best games ever made. Cross-platform. I actually made a bit of a stink about that. Make a stink about stuff? But it felt like it was something that was justified. It's like, I just got this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me when I see shit like that happen because it's like, why bother? Why not sell? Wouldn't it have been great if they just said, hey, when you buy this copy of this game on PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 4 version is going to be waiting for you when you get your PlayStation 4. Because, that happened to me once. There's I forget, it's White Swan?
The Unfinished Swan.
Unfinished Swan, yeah.
Unfinished Swan on PlayStation 3. I bought that, really liked it. And then a copy of it was on PlayStation 4. I was like, that's great. Hey, where's all my other games? Oh, I guess they're not here. Like, it was just like, come on, man, just move it on over. If you could do that with Unfinished Swan, why couldn't you do that with other games? I don't understand why that shit happens because it doesn't make any sense. They make way more money by doing that because it adds to the value of the systems they're selling. And
it's like Terence said, the graphics are now scalable. Like you said, when the Pro comes out or when the Scorpio comes out, a game you buy now, like let's say Gears of War 4, you're going to be playing it in its whatever native resolution on your Xbox One. Maybe on Scorpio, it'll automatically, we're hoping, upgrade to 4K or whatever. So that it's there, you can do it. You don't have to release a whole new package.
But then Xbox 6, the future of the future. If they have their way and they actually do this right, you'll still be able to play Gears of War 4. 5-10 years in the future without having to rebuy it.
Yes.
Like you like movies, right? You like music, right? So we know double dipping is across all media. But if you got that album you like on CD, well, almost everything plays CDs. It's kind of weird that certain stuff doesn't now, and we're starting to see the fall of that as a format. But like DVD players are not going away. You can buy a DVD player for $20. And there's millions of DVDs out there. It's easy, cheap, move it forward. It's not that hard. Like I don't accept this. Back in the day, proprietary like hardware, the emotion engine, the cell processor, the this, the that. It's just them saying good luck and never getting any of this on the future. But now that we're getting into this world of consoleized PC gaming, there is no excuse. Don't even try to double dip me for the same game in high resolution.
I hate to come back to Call of Duty again.
Please do.
But here's the thing that I think this actually pisses me off a little bit. They just announced a remastered version of is it Modern Warfare 1?
Modern Warfare 1, yeah.
Okay, Modern Warfare 1's coming back again, remastered. But they literally said that in the same breath and went, "Yup, full 1080p, 60 frames per second." Yeah, but we've got 2 4K systems coming out, so why not do 4K remastered? If you're going to care to do remastered, why not 4K remastered?
Because that's money to be made in the future.
Is it really? Just upscale it, you lazy fuck. Like, this is not... You know, I'm sorry, but like... Holy shit!
That's a soundbite. I just want you to let you know.
I am
Touche, Lewis. Just upscale it, you lazy fuck.
I don't get it. Like, I understand that maybe I know the developers know what I do because I'm not that smart. Okay, I have games on my computer with a 4K monitor that I just run at the 4K resolutions, and I can get 60 frames per second on plenty of a little bit older games, not like crazy old, but just some decent ones, and they look really great at 4K resolutions. And I know that I know the new systems are coming out. Everyone keeps saying, well, they can't run real 4K, and maybe it's true for a lot of the new ones. But guess what, guys? Just a couple years ago, yeah, these new systems can run Xbox 360 games at 4K resolutions, just upscaled. In some cases, natively at those resolutions, and it will look great. And the fact that they're releasing a remastered version of this game that isn't going to run natively at 4K fucking astonishes me. Why the fuck not? You're literally, like, by the time that game comes out, we're going to have these systems on the market, and they don't utilize the 4K abilities of them for no other reason than the fact that they literally didn't pull from the drop-down menu and click that resolution.
Hey, what's the best part about Modern Warfare HD remake? Is its paywall behind... What the hell are they calling the newest one? Infinite Warfare?
Infinite, yeah.
So if you even want... And I love that because it's like they understand that their franchise is waning. They went back to one of, if not their most popular selling game. And they're like, you want the new... You want the HD... You want the HD one? The HD remake of your favorite Call of Duty of all time? Well, guess what? It's yours for the price of such and such, but you gotta get it with the new one. So they want to keep the brand going. They won't even release it separate. I'm sure a lot of people would have been happy doling over money.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I said before. Like, it drives me crazy when these companies, like, that's their sole purpose is just to push these HD remakes. And Activision did it. Again, we're going to have to bash on Activision here, but you're right. They did it basically against a paywall. You're right. If they released that single by itself for whatever, $39.99 or whatever, they would have sold a ton. But Infinite Warfare, no one would have given a crap about it. So the fact that these companies keep on having to push this stuff out, like I said before, I understand it to a certain extent. And some of them, when they really do remaster them, like Wind Waker HD on the Wii U, made sense. So they completely redid a lot of the texture mapping. They just didn't up-res it or at all. It makes sense. But when you constantly push it, like, this is all we've got. We've got 12 titles coming out this year. 10 of them are HD remakes. And again, I got to hit Sony. I know we bring up, like, the Christmas of 2014, but I got to bring it up again.
15.
Sorry, 2015.
No, it could be 2014 too. They haven't exactly had stellar holiday seasons.
Where they're literally, because of Uncharted 4's delay, their only title they had, or Christmas title, was an HD remake of the first 3 Uncharteds. So, like, even, like, first party, and Microsoft has done it too with Gears of War Ultimate Edition and all that, when even first parties are basically betting the farm on HD remakes of games that literally came out just a few years ago, that's a problem.
Well, when are we going to return to full game experiences at the $60, $70, whatever it is? We had to deal with the looming cloud, or the previously looming cloud of episodic gaming, which of course tanked. You know what? Hitman. Hey, I really enjoyed playing whatever level I was playing at our friend's place, but you know what? If I'm going to do that, there's not going to be no episodic bullshit. Get your act together. I'll see you in the physical copy of the complete version of the game.
Episodic gaming works when guys like Telltale do it, when they do like that little mini stories, but you're right.
When it's meant to
be. Like when Square or Capcom or whoever else, there's many other companies that do it, when they chop up a game that's not supposed to be cut up.
Final Fantasy VII is now a multi-episodic game to get the fuller experience. No, make the fuller experience when you release the game.
Exactly. And there's a game that's like technically an HD remake, but a proper one because it's being completely rebuilt, but they have to F it up by cutting it up.
to ultimately make more money.
Yeah.
This is the ploy. I don't understand why, because you know what it is. Episodic gaming is pretty much this. If you think about it from a business model, all it is okay, provided they didn't do something like Resident Evil Revelations 2, which was the game that was not designed to be episodic, and they made episodic. It actually ruined the game for me because it ruined the flow, and it's wow. Like, I have not cleared it. I have not cleared it. I love Resident Evil games since the first one, since '96. But this one, I'm like, no. Revelations, that title is now staying to me. It may as well be Operation Raccoon City.
I forgot about that one.
But, you know, like, episodic games is kind of like a different model for kind of like, what do they call that? Project Greenlight, Alpha Bills, what do they call that garbage? Because I literally, I refuse to do it.
On Steam.
Yeah, it's like
That's just
pre-release.
Greenlight, yeah. So
Greenlight games that are like, you know, like, oh, this game isn't complete yet, whatever, but we want your money. So what they're doing, the smart things, they know. Final Fantasy VII, there's enough like memory berries. South Park reference. There's enough memory berries out there. They're going to be like, oh, Final Fantasy VII. I've been waiting for this for 20 years. And of course, they're going to buy the first episode. And then, unless the episodes are coming out like monthly, if there's any kind of delay, one makes you go, well, how far are they into development? How are they doing with their finances? Why do they need this money early? It's kind of like when Metal Gear Solid 5 had Ground Zeroes. That was the name of the demo. Like, do we really need a $40 demo? That was just lining fuck Konami's pockets.
I got really pissed off with that because I never thought it made any sense to have that. It really wasn't that full of an experience. They did add a bunch of things to it to replay in that same area again and again. But then what pissed me off was that game and then the one the final one, Phantom Pain, didn't merge together. Like, there wasn't a version that had them bundled together. I know Konami is actually releasing one that's merged together, but there's no way it's going to feel cohesive.
No worries, they're going to make an HD remake out of it.
For fuck's sake.
How many years do you think Konami is going to milk Metal Gear Solid?
Well, here's the deal. Talk about a company that, going back to HD remakes, what actually did it right, and even though it was a Konami franchise, Konami had nothing to do with it, was Twin Snakes on the GameCube,
yes,
which is a remake of Metal Gear Solid, but done by a Canadian company called Silicon Knights.
But what pisses me off, dude, is that we're not going to see, honestly, Twin Snakes get released on modern systems. Why the fuck not?
Konami.
Hey, of course it is. But it's like, why the hell not? These are the games that require...
Don't worry. The Pachinko machine version of the Twin Snakes is coming out.
It irritates me. I just want to see the games that are almost impossible to get re-released. That's why we want to talk about these things. That's why we want to do this.
So we don't, like you're saying, we don't need a bunch of games released from the PS3 and 360 era remastered. We want some original Xbox, PS2, PS1, games like that.
Hey, dude, no,
Dreamcast.
Hey, we're forgetting someone. We're forgetting someone that is another company that is very culpable in this. Nintendo. Now I know they got their virtual console. That's pretty easy shit. It's like basically run an emulator on a Wii U. Away you go. Where's our HD remake of Mother 2? A game some people may know as Earthbound. There's a game that would be cool. How would you like to play Earthbound with a nice, fresh coat of paint?
But beautiful hand-drawn graphics and all that would be gorgeous. But that is the problem with a lot. Like we were discussing before, how companies just want to push out the HD remakes because even though it's not free, it's still extremely cheap, and they don't have to. There's like very little risk. Where Street Fighter HD, when that came out, is a gorgeous game, but that they fully admit that took a lot of effort, a lot of money. That all the art was done by Udon. Those guys took years to redraw every single frame, so it did take a long time.
I will say this, okay? So Sony and Microsoft, we know where they stand when it comes to HD remakes. We know a lot of other companies are trying it, but I gotta say, and I'm gonna be honest here, okay? Nintendo is by far the worst company when it comes to HD remakes.
You want a Zelda game?
Because we with the Wii U, I loved seeing Wind Waker and I loved seeing Twilight Princess, and those are really cool. And those were cool. Okay, like that made sense to me. It was really neat. But then they turn around and be like, the Metroid Prime games, fuck you.
Yeah, or Mario Galaxy or
Mario Galaxy. Fuck you. I'm just like, but why would you do this, dudes? Like, I don't understand this. When I was looking at Metroid Prime, and they released this. Still hurts. The Metroid Prime 3, the collection,
the trilogy,
the trilogy collection was released for a minimal amount of time, for a very specific amount of time, and it was the only Wii version of the first two games that they had released. It was only on that collection, and I was like, well, obviously they're going to want to bring this onto the Wii U because the Wii U can play Wii games pretty much the same way. It'd be great to have those in high definition. And then I remember when they had that announcement at E3, Metroid Prime 3, or was it the collection?
It was the collection, yeah.
Collection is coming to Wii U, and I was like, yeah! And it's just the Wii version at 480p on your modern TV. And I was like,
no!
Fucking why?
Couldn't
Why?
you? What is the difference? What is the difference from doing that and placing your Wii copy
And there was
into the Wii U?
and there was
just play
people like
that?
the homebrew market created that Dolphin emulator, which could run Wii games in 1080p. Now there were some problems, but listen, you put enough budget behind it and some engineers, and you can get it working just fine.
Dolphin now has 100% compatibility with all the GameCube games. Let me make. I want everyone at home to understand this because this is fucking treacherous. A group of people at home without a budget made an emulator that is capable of running GameCube and Wii games at high definition, and motherfucking Nintendo can't do that with all the money they apparently have. This is insane, man. There is no reason for that. I find it okay when they re-release things in high definition, and that's great. And look, if Sony simply wants to or Nintendo wants to re-release these games in high definition slowly as they go, that's great too. But dudes, they did it in their boxers in their basement, and you couldn't. You really got to be coming back at me with some kind of reasoning for this.
You just hit the nail on the head. Nintendo's problem is lack of quality first-party games and a good enough flow that has something in between. But you know what? Everybody loves rebuying Nintendo products. Everybody's like, oh, Zelda, 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 Mario. It goes on and on. You know what? You want to do something? This is my closing thoughts to this. Nintendo wants to make a successful system. I love how it became a Nintendo video. You want to supplement your new releases? Guess what? Figure out a way to kind of crank out some classic games that have not been released since. Make them look prettier. Get them out.
Yep.
But honestly, guys, I really hope that this generation is the last generation that we have to deal with this cheap, lazy marketing ploy of HD remakes of HD games. So that's all that really needs to be said about it. In the future, I would like to not see any.
So guys, what do you think? Are you a fan of high-definition remakes? Do you want to see more high-definition remakes on modern consoles or in the future? Are you excited for the future of 4K remakes?
Modern Warfare again!
They're coming.
Well, let's see what happens. Write your comments below. We're going to read them.